Hi, I'm Sepheal, and I want to share my thoughts on each of the sport's strengths and weaknesses for the next time you consider picking one. I'm not trying to say which supports are better than others, just trying to help enlighten the picking decision. Also, if you feel like I've missed or got a detail wrong, please tell me in the comments below. Common traits of a support. There are a few things supports generally have in common that make them a support, usually. Supports usually have abilities that prevent damage for their team. Healing, shielding, fate transfer, etc. Supports usually have medium health pools, higher than most firepowers, lower than most of the frontliners. And they usually suffer from not having a dash. There are exceptions, of course. They don't usually deal too much damage because they'd rather heal, and usually require line of sight to do most of their supporting abilities, most usually with an overwall mod. Some do not, however. Let's start off with Helio, shall we? Pros. Provides consistent shields throughout the game if cycled properly. Most of his shields are free actions, meaning he can usually shield and deal damage most turns. Brings a ton of AoE damage, can combo well with most frontliners with his black hole. Has the unique scramble, which is super good. Has above average energy gain for a support. You will usually get 2 ultimates a game, at least. And can support himself with all of his abilities. There's no restrictions on what he can support. Cons. Provides no healing whatsoever. Doesn't have an escape. And shields in general do require a lot of guessing, as you have to guess which ally to shield at what time to make it effective. Also, another con is that his basic range is 5, meaning he usually has to be closer to the fight than most supports, so he's going to take a lot more damage. Following on from that, we have Quark. Pros. He has the best consistent healing to a single target in the game. He has a decent range dash, which is really good for a support. He has a super burst healing ultimate that hits everybody within a radius. Can do consistent damage if tethered and it's not even required. His aggressive tether acts as a reveal as well, which is a lot better than people give it credit for. He has a lot of mods that heal him over time if he keeps his tethers up, so rewarding for playing well. Some of his mods on his 1 and 2 ability also apply to his dash. Pretty nice. And honestly, you don't even need an aggressive tether to get good energy gain. You can keep a friendly tether all game and you can still get 2 ults. It's that good. Cons. Cannot heal himself outside of his ult and mods, meaning he's a great target to focus. He takes a turn to switch tether targets, so losing your tether is really hard. He cannot support multiple teammates at once without ult. He's not very good at that. His tether range is only 5, so a good root or knockback will break his tether and ruin his day. Meaning he needs team communication usually to actively keep a friendly tether up all game. Also, his tether acts as a visual link to him and his tethered ally's position, because it kind of points if you can see one of the 2 tethered targets. But overall, pretty nice. Next we have Aurora. Pros. Consistent healing. She also has burst healing. Her basic both damages enemies and heals allies hit. She can weaken over walls massively, like it's a giant AoE. She can heal allies and damage enemies over walls with her ult, which is really nice. Her mods allow for even more healing on 4 out of 5 of her abilities. She has a lot of small AoE damage that builds up over time. Her heal has a small knockback. She can grant a whole team-wide unstoppable if modded on her paralyzer. Really good against Helio's black hole. She's easy to play and really great for learning the support role in general. Cons. She doesn't have an escape and she lacks burst damage. Without her ult, the most she can do is 20 damage on her Iron Cloud. So yeah. Other than that, I couldn't really think of any other cons that wouldn't just be that all supports didn't have. So it's yeah. Carrying on. Next we have Orion, one of the newer supports. Orion can prevent huge amounts of damage on a target with Fate Transfer. He has burst healing, has decent AoE damage, can super heal himself with his ult, has a free action damage ability. His abilities are at their strongest when he has more energy. That's how his shards work. And he also gains energy for taking damage, which I guess is a plus. Cons. He has no consistent healing or shielding. All of his supportive abilities have a cooldown. He hasn't got an escape. Fate Transfer, even so it can block so much damage, it doesn't prevent the damage, it redirects it onto himself, meaning he could accidentally kill himself. Fate Transfer requires line of sight. There is no mod to stop that. His main healing ability heals over a course of 2 turns instead of at once. And his abilities are at their weakest when he has no energy. And probably the biggest con is that he loses 75% of his energy on death, meaning that not only when he dies he loses effectiveness for 2 turns, he then comes back at his weakest point, which is pretty bad. But enough of that, carrying on. Now we have Dr.Finn. Has consistent decent damage from far range. He can heal multiple people at once if positioned correctly. Can grant a burst shield, currently at 40 points. Has a 5x5 overall knockback that combos really well with other abilities, Voltaic Cage, etc. Has a 2-turn reveal that can spread, no matter where you are on the map. And a lot of funny puns. Cons. He hasn't got any consistent healing or shielding. All of his supportive abilities have a cooldown. He hasn't got an escape. Gets very little return healing and can only shield himself. He can't directly heal himself. He requires line of sight for his healing. There's no mod to counteract that. As I said with Helio, his shield requires guesswork, because if you miss it, you've pretty much wasted the turn. And energy gain isn't that good. Like, you have to do quite well to get a lot of energy to get 2 ults, but usually you only get 1. Most of his damage doesn't ignore cover as well, which is unfortunate. And puns. A lot of people don't like puns, for some reason. Last but not least, we have our latest support, Su-Ren. Pros. She has AoE heals that go off in the blast phase. She can dash twice in a row, dealing damage or healing, meaning she's very slippery. She can combo her dash and heal together for a burst heal, which she can burst heal for a lot, by the way. She's hard to focus down, as I said, she's slippery. She can super shield someone for 100 points with her ult, meaning that they're pretty much guaranteed not to die for that turn. Almost. She might weaken an enemy or ally from a very good range, especially with the overall mod. Pretty much, it's really nice. Provides okay damage. It's not the best, but it's there. Her ult is actually a really big burst, but outside of that, it's not that good. And her energy gain's really good. Cons. She has no consistent healing or shielding. All supportive abilities have a cooldown. AoE heal only affects the area around her, meaning that she has to potentially have to be in a dangerous area to heal an ally. She has to play risky. She has a smaller health pool than other supports. She only has an attack range of 4, thus making her a melee character. In turn, there's often turns where you cannot do anything but sprint. Also, her dash is predictable, as You can only either dash to an ally or enemy on the second turn, depending on which one you used beforehand on the previous turn. Her ult requires guesswork, as it is a shield and it only lasts for the turn. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope that these help influence your picking decisions when you need to pick a support next time. With that out of the way, bye bye.